as it doesn't do it, so I do it myself. We are back. We, as in Folks Talking Sports, back after the site we used last week got hacked, basically. But this is episode 197 of Folks Talking Sports. I am KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Round Ball Review. And joining me is, first things first, I'm bringing in the guests first and then my colleagues. Coach Vernette Skeete, Texas Southern Women's Basketball Head Coach. Ma'am, how are you? Uh-oh. Coach? Can I hear
think
me?
she's on. Is she on mute? She on mute?
She's acting like she can't hear me. Hear
I don't
us.
think she can.
Well, we'll bring her in a second. Laquita Thompson is with us as well. Mr. A.D. Moore from the AdMax Corner, and Kenitra Pulliams also. How are y'all doing?
What's
Good.
up?
Good,
It's a
good.
little, it's a little tepid outside, Chris, but other than that, it's okay.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
text her real
No,
quick.
I was being kind. It's just flat out hot.
Ah, okay. This heat has a
You
spirit on
can't
it. Feels like it's so hot.
you can't spell Houston without HONT.
Yeah. We are
Especially not
feeling it.
this August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a hotter August. This is something else. This is
Yeah. No, you
El
this
you know
yeah.
Nino.
the you know the crazy thing about it, man. I keep looking for the national forecast
All
and
right,
keep
Coach, can you
watching.
hear us now?
I can't. I couldn't hear anything for some reason. Sorry.
All
Okay,
right, there she
no
is.
problem. Okay, there we go. Well, hopefully the gremlins that took down the platform last week don't bother us right now on this edition of the show. Coach Vernette Skeete from TSU Women's Hoops is joining us.
Yay, yay, yay. Hello,
Coach,
everybody.
how are
How
you
y'all
doing?
doing?
Welcome to
I'm
Folks
doing
Talking
good.
Sports.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited to be here. Excited to be here. Hopefully, all my technical difficulties don't emerge as well.
Well, real quick, I want to recap this past season and then let's talk about the upcoming season, including the trip that you're going to make to Puerto Rico. But
Oh,
your
yeah.
thoughts on this past season, and then we'll get into this coming season.
I think this past season, obviously, it was a real testament. I mean, I think we went a stretch where we played
Uh oh.
Oh,
games with six players. So we really struggled. I mean, we had kids with some severe, situations outside of just physical injuries, some things that they kind of had been dealing with in their blood and, different things that they kind of had gotten diagnosed with that we found out late. And so we really had to kind of endure to the finish. And so I learned a lot about myself when it was time to pause the level of competitiveness and make sure the people that you're journeying with make it. And I think that was hard because I'm a natural competitor. Um, but it was easy because I'm also a Christian. So, we ended up kind of battling through that. And I'm kind of glad that we endured and we got there. We got everybody the help that they need and everybody kind of moved on. And now we kind of get this like fresh start. And so I really have enjoyed this crew throughout the summer. I think the difference is with bringing in a crew that is so new, you know, um, you kind of exterminate a lot of bad habits that could have seeped into your culture. And you kind of get rid of that for a time being, and you can kind of establish something new. And so I think that's where we're at right now. We've got a lot of good kids that really love basketball. I feel like I've missed that for a while. When you were playing at the A&Ms and working, everybody thought they were still a pro at that point. And so people were looking forward to that. I feel like In the last couple of years, we've kind of been in a place where the culture has been, I see the end a little bit sooner. And we kind of stepped away from that, but we're still hungry. Basketball is on the rise across the world. Everybody's getting hungry, getting a passion. You know, people are talking. We have men, we have women, we have international scope of people talking about women's basketball right now. And so I think I have a group of kids who really buy into that. And so it's been fun. And so obviously getting ready to head down to Puerto Rico, we're excited to take our talents everywhere. But for me, it's November 23rd. I can't, I mean, it's the first outside of November 23rd when we're going. I'm ready for the first game. So, it's the same impact for me all around.
How many newcomers do you have on this year's team?
14.
Whoa.
Coach, that's the whole team.
It's a team.
Is that right? The whole team?
The whole team. The whole team. The
Okay,
whole
how
team.
challenging was that?
It wasn't. And actually, it's been fun. It hasn't been challenging at all. I wish I was wise enough to say I created this space on my own, but I can't. The Holy Spirit does whisper, though. I say all the time the difference, especially on this level, you have to learn to embrace the transfer portal give it and the transfer portal take it, right? And so, we're still economically amongst the scale, even though we're Division One. The power fours, the power fives, like, they're always financially going to have appeal, and so, you get these kids at this stage now still searching for something else, the ones that truly love the sport. And so, it gives and it takes, and I think it's given us a lot, but it's taken some things as well.
Laquita, AD, KP, I got questions for Coach Skeete.
Yeah, uh, ladies, go ahead because Coach said something, but I'm just gonna marinate my question and live for because I go ahead, ladies
Yes, no,
first.
no, same thing. So you mentioned with the challenges you went through last season.
Mhm.
How much do you rely on your psychology degree and your faith, and
Look,
then your role as a coach, just to do what's in the best interest of these players who you are put in charge to lead,
mhm.
um, but while still you have to produce, for your record, for your job stability.
I do. I want to first give credit, obviously, to my prior AD for understanding the vision, VP Granger. He understood the vision of what we were trying to do and the culture we were trying to create. Our theme, we always have a new theme each year. Like our new theme is the shift, but our overall theme that's always going to be consistent with our program is the Tiger Way and then Crowns On. And so, we wanted this place to feel more like a garden versus a graveyard.
Mm,
And you have to plant. And to think about planting as a farmer or a sower or a grower or anything, you can't plant the seed and eat the apple overnight. Right. And so it's like you have to, a lot of people, everybody knows a layup drill. Everybody can
mhm,
watch LeBron and be like, you needed to make that layup, right? But the process that it takes to build that habit that gives you the confidence in that moment is a process and it's a timing. And a lot of people coach and a lot of people have drills and good plays and good defense, but a lot of people struggle with that understanding timing. And when you don't understand timing, it creates frustration, right? And
mhm,
so now you're angry, you're mad, it's the man, the administrator, the fans, everything. And I think that I've gotten there because I'm human at times where you feel a little bit of pressure. You feel more or less like, am I getting everything I can for these kids out of them? But ultimately, when you do understand timing and process, and I've had the ability to rebuild programs everywhere I've went, on higher levels. So it does give me a little bit more of a calmer space. And like I said, the Holy Spirit whispers. So, I just, as long as I can sleep at night knowing I gave the best I can for the kid, because it's their journey. And I try to keep it in that space. Like, God allowed me to journey with you. Whatever tools, it's just kind of like fixing a flat, right? You got to figure out where the hole's at, and then you got to plug the gap. If you don't understand that, you truly can't go on a journey. you get a car, you got to know, okay, well, where we're trying to go. Cause I can't go, all the way to Dallas on one tank of gas. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the process of that. And then that's why I have to joy in. I joy in being able to find the answers. I joy in being able to communicate that. And so I don't put the result as, I said, because then it'll judge how hard you're going in the space you're going. You know what I mean? Like I just judge what, like I kind of measure myself, whatever God has me in line on that journey to fix those things, and then I let whatever take care of whatever, and so I don't get too worried about that until God tells me. And I'm a true believer that God provides. So it's like, if you're calling me to do this, then you're gonna provide the way. So I just kind of have to leave it there.
Okay. You make me want to say, preach, preacher. Go ahead.
My
Um,
mother and father were preachers, so I got it honest.
oh, I get it. I get it. I love it. And in talking about being a fixer and having everything, supply with what you need when we're talking about a team. So, a double question, or really one, what do you feel were some of the deficits that you had last season, team wise, roster wise? And do you feel like in this recruiting trail that you had so much fun on, did you feel those gaps? And do you think is roster wise?
I don't, I try to, I want to say we lack depth. That was the biggest thing, which is why we got into that area. I mean, we've not truly had, conference level post, you know what I mean, on a consistent basis. It's very hard because, like, obviously I want to not blame roster for frugalities. You know what I mean? So I'm being very careful with my words here, but I do glory in the fact that I was able to get, well, when in my recruiting process, sometimes it does hinder me because I don't believe in recruiting the same player, because then that's dumb, right? Like, and then I also don't believe in recruiting more than three or four players in the same position. Because then what we doing here? I actually believe that honestly, women's basketball should be a roster of 12. When you get a 15, there's really no 15-man rotation. So you're just inviting drama. So with that philosophy, it has caused me to then, if injury bugs hit me, I really pay the price. I've gotten away with it sometimes because obviously, we practice a ton against practice guys. So you don't need to compete against each other every day, and it's saving some legs. But we've had some challenges in our training room and our development. I think we're all working on that. Obviously, as our new AD has approached it, those are the first thing that he's tackling: strength and conditioning, training rooms, things like that. That can get us up to those levels where some of these other schools don't have issues with. I do think we've had everything, but maybe not as a surplus as some of these other schools do. So I think that's going to help us. I really do believe that this year we have depth in every position. We have mobility and height in the post. We have IQ and passing. Good handles, right, left hand. In the point guard position. And then people who, like, I haven't had to like make into point guards, but they really like were true point guards. They have like the IQ to go with it and the intellect, and it's like their passion to come and want to learn more and things like that. And so far that's been good. Obviously, we're still in our earliest ages, but it's been fun to have that in the gym, and I can say that's been a little different from, prior stints.
AD, you have a question before I ask the question?
Yeah, Coach. I mean, there's a portion in the scripture says, "Be still." How
You
did
know
you
that
be
I do that.
still?
Hmm.
How did you be still bringing in 14 players? I'm please sort of take us through that because you clean house and then you
I
can't
didn't say I clean house. The house is clean, but I didn't necessarily clean the house.
well, no. I'm you as a euphemism. I mean, but I'm just trying to understand how did you be still and go through this process of coming in with, hey, just it's totally new. How did you do it?
He- at the core of me, I'm a teacher. right? And so, there's so many different layers of success when you're talking about a program. You have to train your coaches, right? Then you have to train your managers, your support staff, and then your players. So for me, I look at this, I was a JUCO coach. So the evolving door isn't a bother to me because I have it in my tank. So the transfer portal works for me because my thing is like I get a 2-year max in mind. If you're with me for 2 years, I feel like you can go play for Don. You can go work for Don. You can, because that's the top of the chain. So that's what my I sense. So if you're a part of my crew, I'm building so that you can go anywhere and be successful. But the thing that helps me teach well because it's mine. I didn't copy it from somebody. I didn't watch you can do it and then not ask Gino and then come in here and just try to duplicate what he's doing. What I did was study research. I looked at women's basketball. I created my own offense. I created my own flow. I found the things that were missing. Being an assistant coach helped me really develop and understand what that eighth and ninth person felt like and the ones that were hungry. And I think that's been my biggest mistake kind of coming into the head coach spot because that became my bread and butter. I heard those cries so much, it ached in my soul when I couldn't do anything about it because I had to comply, I had to get them on board, and I knew they were hungry and they might have not had the chance. And so, I just assumed everybody's really that was on the college level had that hunger because I've had some teams like that, and every team I've had on the Power Four, Power Five level, you had the eighth and ninth, tenth, kids that are hungry and just want a shot. And that was the necessary status quo. And so I had to get kids in there. So, like, my system works better with kids who truly want to be great. And I'm not pulling them. I'm not like, hey, come here. Let me, do you said you want to be great. And it's like, I have really had to hone in the difference. And you mentioned psychology earlier of the kids that tell you, I want to be great, but really don't know the cost of greatness. It's just
Mm.
something that aunties and cousins and OAU coaches and all that always told them. So they just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, they forget that at some point potential gets you fired and they're still trying to finish their career on the potential level. And it's like, no, at this point you have to showcase the results of it. And so like my system is really easy to teach because it's mine and I believe in it wholeheartedly. It's not like I gotta reset now. Because of the level that I am on, I am training my coaches. I am training my student workers. I am training my support staff. That can get a little exhausting, but I see results really, really quick. If I had to portion out success in my program, I would say my managers and my support staff last year had the highest, elevation. They were stellar. They got so good, so bad. So it's just like a proven way. It's the Tiger way. And so it's cliche because we're the Tigers, but the Tiger way, like when I set out and God again whispering to me to come up what I wanted my program, I built it all off of one thing that has. It's just kind of like 50 Cent, the power universe. It becomes a universe, right? It's not just one thing that you say. So the Tiger way is like togetherness, integrity, God, excellence, resilience. But it's a theme, it's a guideline, it's a map. At the same time, it's an evaluation system. Are you are you together? Like, are you doing things that are on the same mission as everybody else? Are you together with your mission? Integrity. Do you have integrity for the things that you said you wanted? Do you have integrity for your family who's spending the money and the resources, your AAU coaches, your elementary coach that pushed you all those years to get you to this point? Are you giving back enough with this opportunity? God, like, I don't know a better leader. I don't know a better, like, you know what I mean? So, like, if you're not doing anything when it comes to the simple principles in the Bible, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to respect, when it comes to using your talent correctly, if you're not doing those things, then you can't create success. There's a lot of people that may not believe in God, may believe in Buddha, whatever, whatever, but the principles of success that are lined in the Bible are congruent throughout life, everywhere. There's nobody that goes against what God creates as success. So I go to the rock. And then excellence, obviously, you got to have a standard of what excellence is. You got to have a mark you're reaching to, and then the resilience piece of understanding what it actually takes. Because I think a lot of people, they say they want to be great, and then when you get them in there and they got 10 more reps and they already tired, that's when, and see, I'm the challenger to say, now do you want to be great now? Because you told me you want to be great. Now we done ran 3 sprints. On this fourth man, show me how you want to be great. Because if you can't channel greatness or desire or hunger in that moment, and your mind can only completely, the psychology part, stay in what I feel, then you don't have the strength and endurance to get to greatness. The difference in between me and a lot of other coaches is that I don't fluff and I don't lie. Winning a game is not my end result, because we can win and you could still be successfully underachieving. That doesn't do anything for me in the course that I have and the plan that I have that I'm put on this earth to do. So the Tiger Way is also an evaluation system. A lot of people have rules for the players, and then they don't have rules for their staff. The Tiger Way is a way for me. It checks me. You think I'm being hard on you? Integrity won't let me let you up. I can't let up, because then I'm a lack it. When I told you in the recruiting process, when I told your mother and your father or your AU coach, and I told them I was going to push you to the max. And you may not ever choose that space again in your life, but at least you'll know what it feels like. The integrity of me pushing that. So it's like, those things aren't hard because they're authentic. You know what I mean? My brother has this company, it's called Authentic Effort. And it's just like, it's the real thing. Everybody, we literally in our me training, we have this thing at our, I developed, I created it. It was a leadership academy when I was first at Miami. It's
Mhm.
called me training, ME. It stands for mental enhancement. So it's like we're always training something. So we were talking about the art of self discipline. And I asked some of the players who were their role models. And, we got the Maya Moores, the Kyrie Irvings, all the list. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm cool. And I was like, great, great. And I was like, how hard do you think they had to work? And everybody, oh, no, they gave it everything. And and that's where a lot of people live at, right? Just that. Oh, they work hard. Man, do you think you work hard? No, man, I need to push it a little bit more. How? Right? Because, see, most people can stop right there in the idea that Kobe was a Mamba mentality and that Jordan was the greatest of all times, but they can't tell you what his workout with. How many shots does Steph Curry shoot? Because, see, that's lazy to just say they're great. It's late because the information can be found. And if you look at it in that aspect, you'll see who people really are. You can go find Kyrie's workout. You can go track down Maya Moore's workout. If you want to be great and you ain't putting in the shots out, but this is your role model, then what are you modeling? You can't leave practice as soon as the whistle blow and talk about you, Kobe, because Kobe already had 3 practices. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like matching what they want. You do not have to want to be Kobe. But if you say that, then the authenticity of what I do is put you to what they actually did to get that. And that's different. A lot of people just want to play enough to beat the next. I don't, I want to beat the rival. That ain't really my that ain't what I hang my head on. They're not shooting like Kobe. So the places we trying to go, they may win the game, but they're not going where we at. We're not on the same boat. We ain't the same, sis. Like, we're not the
Yeah.
same. So like I'm truly trying to create an avenue that if anybody wants more in life and wants to do more and get to a pro level and be like, I want to make sure I didn't fail at that opportunity. And that was a lot, but that's kind of why it's not hard for me, because I glory in that space that God has given me the wisdom to keep carving out opportunities for kids to do that.
Coach, you're preaching to everybody right now, so it's great, and we're enjoying it. What are your
Yeah.
impressions, your first impressions of the new AD, Ashley Robinson?
I mean, first impression is not my first. I've been watching him from afar. I mean, what hasn't he done? And for us, with it being so late, you really do need somebody with experience that can hit the ground running. And I mean, and he has, and so I'm excited to see. You know, as much as I talk about the Holy Spirit whisper, like I'm a sponge. I love being in a place where from leadership I can grow, I can pull, I can absorb from, I can be shown, I can be taught, I can be directed, I can be polished, And I really feel like I'm going to get a chance to rub, nut with some real greatness. And I'm excited for the opportunity. I'm here to learn and work under him and be tutored and guided. And I'm excited for our whole program because it won't just be me, but the whole athletic department. It may change the way we see academics or compliance or even ticket sales and fundraising. Just a fresh space of successful ideas so that we're not underachieving. I'm excited about it.
Before we get to the comments from the viewers, let's get into the non-conference schedule, including the MTE in Puerto Rico. And you said you're excited for the first game. Well, who's that against?
It is the first game is a scrimmage, but the official first game we're going down. I think we have Tulane and LSU in that run. Let me quote because I don't do schedule. Yeah, coach, I had one track mind. So I have to check to see for sure. But yeah, I'm super excited about. I know our first game is a scrimmage, and we play blend, and I think Texas A&M International something something. And so we haven't started getting ready for that because we school just started, but we're getting ready for us first. But I am excited. I think for the first time, we'll actually be playing. Since I've been here, we have a home scrimmage game during homecoming. And
Mm-hmm.
so exhibition more or less. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think we're going to try to get it opened up, for the public and give, people while they're on campus. Also, the Holy Spirit whispers and the strategy of homecoming moving this year and people finding things to do on campus. We've just added a little, wrinkle to, to the people since we actually won't, our football team won't be presently there.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about Puerto Rico, the MTE. How did that come about?
Yeah.
It actually it did start about 2 years ago. We were working with VP Gray Jonathan, and early on it was a little out of our reach for what we were trying to do. What I want, basketball has taken me all over the world. I've been Australia, Nice, South of France, I mean I can go on and on. Canada, Alaska, basketball has taken me so many places, and I have such a big network of people. I wouldn't want to be a part of a situation that I'm leading that doesn't get the same experience. And so often, our theme is crowns on, and you want these kids to feel like they're not second dan. So, we're really working to figure out the tournament group is based out of Milwaukee, and obviously, with me playing at Marquette and things like that, and just some of the places I've been to some of these tournaments, and I knew the directors a while, and so we worked together for about 2 years. We couldn't get to Puerto Rico last year, so we ended up going to Vegas. And this year, we really set our intentions and we got it done. We had full support administration for this experience for the girls. So we're really excited about that.
You mentioned, Marquette, and your resume is ripe with Power Five experience. The Big East, Big
Yes.
Ten,
Yeah.
SEC. Like, how have you used that experience with the acronym you provided about the Tiger Way to really shape your philosophy and how you coach and in how you recruit?
Yeah. A lot of it is from high school, AAU to coaching the Tiffany Hayeses, the April Sykes, the Erica Willers, kids who have become pros, going on to Shanice Johnson and Raquana Williams. Pros, and those are just the WNBA pros. Obviously you have pros going overseas, and you be here naming them forever. Going on to Marquette, Natisha Heidemann, and like Alizaia Blockton, and so all of these kids who've had opportunities and success on so many different levels. And so it's like it's good when you've helped the process, whether it's words, training, and you've seen the work done as a pro. So it's not just like, oh, you could be a pro. It's like a lot of people I get training pros that ain't never been pros. Like, well, you met them when they was a pro. You didn't really get them there. So it's like that process of being able to bring that so that I can truly be real with them when I say I don't fluff when it comes to basketball. This is good enough. This is because I could easily just be satisfied with them just winning a game and making me look good, get dressed up and walk around and falutin' and act like I'm just, filet mignon, and then my kids are doing nothing. Like I can't. When I get a championship, when I get a conference championship, when I get to the national tournament, I want my kids to have national accolades. I want to get there when we deserve to be. You know what I mean? Like I want it not to just be about me. Like it, the way I played, I have a championship on every level I played and coached on to this point. So if I'm doing this for my ego, I tell people all the time. Fortunately enough for me, I was homecoming queen. I didn't grow up and then try to become, this person. Like I've been me. I'm out of the spotlight now. I don't do this for me. I truly, truly do love trying to develop these kids, and so I do. I'm grateful for the place, especially like I know people are gonna get at me, but some of my favorite time as a student of the game was in the Big East. Oh my God, you had Doug Bruno, you had Harry and Villanova, like because these people, what it taught me, like obviously I love being in the ACC, love being in the SEC crowd atmosphere, nothing like it. There's no conference that can compete with that. ACC, the toughness of their guards, the rhythm of the like it's just it can't be competed with. But the Big East, they don't get these high profile kids as a culture. They're all blue collar, hard nosed kids. And you see this regular looking kid out there smiling. You like, oh, we about to bust them. They out there, they ain't even got no game face, and they just running back door cuts, moving, running their motion off, and smiling at you while they doing it. Like, what in the world? Now they up by 20. And so I learned a lot about basketball action. And the great thing for me, and I always give kudos to Katie Meyer, because when I first got into coaching, coming from an AAU coach and coming from a high school coach, she sat me down and she didn't limit me. She didn't see me being a black woman and say, yes, I love that you're a great recruiter. Keep bringing them in here. Keep getting the top kids. Go ahead. Make me look good. She really sat me down and said, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a coordinator? Or do you want to be an administrator? Do you want to be offensive? Like, do you want to be a video? Like, what is it that you want to be? And she helped me term what I have as creative chaos because I saw things differently. And so, my offense, and then I got to work with Carolyn Keeger as well, who was one of the assistant coaches with me when we
Mhm.
down there. But then she became my head coach, and she's an offensive guru as well. So you got her and Harry, and we're battling in the Big East every night. And it is the best system. And it's who is disciplined in the system. It's not necessarily the athlete, or you got kids that you probably would have missed. And so it honed in a lot of my skill to be able to work with whatever I have and create a system that still is going to be competitive no matter what. And so that's why, like, a lot of them, like, we're going to compete. Now, I can't tell you we're going to make the shots, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to have the number one offense at the conference. I'm still going to average about 80 or 90 points. I mean, shots per possession. I am, because my offense is going to. Now, there are times where I may not make but 30% of that. Which is why we lost the game. But the system doesn't allow me to not get those shots. So, and I credit a lot of that to some of my extent then, because hold on, baby, because that is what has allowed me to really develop as a coach and be able to be in this space to help me the most. So yeah, that was a lot. Hold on, but yes, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is great.
You need a timeout.
It's bedtime. Why are you
No,
asking me
no.
about graham crackers? Go lay down.
Coach Skeete has spoken with me a few times, but she is flowing tonight. She flows in the previous conversation. She's really flowing tonight. I'm enjoying this, and I'm glad everybody's getting a chance to listen to her and on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. But Laquita, AD, if you have any more questions for Coach Vernette Skeete, go ahead.
I
No,
do. And
go ahead, Laquita.
mine is going to be stereotypes. Okay. Because I really respect where you're coming from now, because everybody don't talk like this. Everybody not developing. Everybody's not, looking at success differently. In this college, you got NIL, you got all these things going on. We got, the things that happen within the HBCU and all this kind of things. I want to get your perspective on the stereotypes. If you think there may not be any in your mind, but the stereotypes of a black female coach, and then the stereotypes of some of the things that are out there that are discussed and griped about HBCU. How do you feel you have broken it or breaking it, or how can things be turned around as far as from the outside looking in, if that makes any sense? And you can answer that in whatever way you feel true to that.
I actually, Laquita, I really respect you for that question because that's such a real space, right? It's actually the reason I mentioned, I'm so grateful for Katie Meyer, right? Because, Black women are typically viewed as recruiters. I've had a Black woman tell me, well, don't discuss offense in front of these white coaches, these male coaches. They don't want to hear that from me. I'm like, goodbye. Like, I'm going to be me, and so people have had to kind of fall into that line. They've been shut out there. You see them sitting on the sidelines, but they can't do a scout. They couldn't tell you anything outside of how good a kid is. And the scouters do that for you and all the services. So it's like you don't have any value. You kind of become these glorified babysitters. If you look at me in my huddle, I'm drawing up the last play. The kids are
Mm-hmm.
looking at me at the end of the game. They want to know what I think. If their shot's not falling, now first of all, I do. I give my assistants know you can't have a position because listen, because we're finna get into something today. You can't have a position, group, and you don't know your player's shot, right?
Mm.
Coaching when the kid got 30, they in their bag. Sit down, coach. They don't need you today. Okay? Like, they don't need you when they up 35. And you're like, I just thought I told you. Like, no, they need you when they're 2 and 18. And see, when you take on that aspect of I'm journeying with you, so I can't fail you, I have to have the answer. Right. That's where I feel like Kate was the greatest at because when we were at the bottom of the ACC, in 3 years, we were co champions with Duke, and we sent two kids to the league and they both had 2,000 points. They finished with over 2,000 points apiece at the same time, guards. So it's like finding enough for the people that want it, finding enough and not failing them. That is the true journey. Not you. There are going to be several people that finish this journey that do not like me because I make you uncomfortable by the push. I'm not here for friendship, and God ain't going to ask me about that. He gonna say, "What was your reasonable service?" So at the end of the day, it's like I'm not going to fail that when we tie that back into the question that you asked, it is too often that we are too silent in the wrong moments, which is why I had to venture off into becoming a head coach at any cost because I could no longer sit back and say I believe in the direction that we were going. And I just felt like there was a better way to do it. And you look at this, and, you got all of these All Americans, this All American 15, top of the class, this 25, 100, da, 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 and then y'all running horns. Well, horns is the two-player system, right? Like whoever the last person is rolling, it may be some action later, but it's basically a ball screen. And that's as
Right.
high level as you could come up with five All Americans on the court. Like,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Flux in my offense, every time you pass the ball, there's three or four options. The person with the
Hmm.
ball being the main one. And so you don't get this system of people who are just watching. And it's the hardest transition because once we get it, they're great, but it does take a while. And when it comes to recruiting, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who feel like even some of my players now, they are pleasantly surprised because they thought this was going to be an easier route. Coming down to HBCU, I always wanted to experience, cool, experience it. But please do not mistake that there's not an elite level of basketball occurring down here, that there's not an elite standard that is occurring down here. Rent is due every day. Rent is due every day. And so, we hold people to this that rent due. Like, don't this ain't that. And I tell them, you be pleasantly mistaken if you thought this was like, MC Light. I think she said I look light, but I'm heavy though. So,
Right.
Okay.
so I was like, I look light, but I'm heavy though. So it's like that mentality of like we do, but I'm very honest in recruiting, and a lot of people they're so used to recruiting garbage. Like it's just like, okay, yeah, I hear you till they get down here, and then they got to run laps. And it's like, wait, 20? Yeah, no, yeah, 20 the hard way. So, it is different. But we do face some of those challenges because although we're getting the yes and the buy-in and we're presenting the Tiger Way and we're talking evaluation, we're talking about development, we don't run from that. We speak on things that they're hearing. We pull their film. We're talking analytics. We're talking scout. We're talking expectation when they get here. Have we lost some to, NIL? Of course, because we got what we got, right?
Right.
And we're actively, working to build that. But we have what we have. I don't care how much we build, we're never going to be able to compete at this level with the Yukons and the South Carolinas. And I say this in respective, like when I was at Marquette, we needed more money. When I was at Texas A&M, we needed more money. Everybody needs more money. At the end of the day, wherever you were at, that can't be the space that you stay. I'm very big on mission over emotion. You don't get to call it a problem if you yourself can't cultivate a solution. Those are my office rules, right? Like, it's not a problem if you ain't got no solution. So we don't speak of issues as if this is the problem. It's like, okay, what's the solution? Hunt that before we just sit, because some people just want a space to stay in that space. TSU, as in LSU, we all have problems, but great leaders push through for solutions and they keep going. So yes, there's a lot of discriminatory ideology behind being HBCU, and some of it has been true. And that's the culture shift, and that is our thing this year. The shift. That is what we're really focusing on, shifting that mentality and saying, I can enjoy a HBCU experience and still be a real athlete. I can still be a pro with both. And so hopefully that's something that we can keep going off the ground. But I applaud all Black women who choose not to just be the token, look good and scream and yell on the sideline. It's like, rebound. What the fans saying that? Can you give them the angle to rebound? Like, can you give them some technique? Like, how do they fix their shot? Like, just, like
Yeah.
I get frustrated with things that fear creates. When your
Mm.
fear overrides the memory of your skill, I can't stand that. People tell you all the time, I can't stand TT. The movie Set It Off. I tell everybody that I can't stand TT. When it's time to eat, it's time to eat. Then we gotta rob the bank. We gotta rob the bank. It ain't no time to be scared now. And so that's what we try to change. That we can't always train. That is, I'm still. I guess if I had the answer to that, I'd be a millionaire right now. Is harnessing that fear that pauses and hinders and paralyzes your skill in those moments. That's what I get the most frustrated with. But that was a brilliant question because, as a Black woman, honestly, it is a thing that a lot of people come, coaches, powerful, they come shake my hand like, man, oh, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Much as that, we just can't hit the shot, but we surely gonna get it, you know. And so,
Right.
if we can handle being pressed, if the team is just bigger than us, is stronger than us, and if you're beating us, we got 20 plus turnovers.
Mm.
There's not a lot of people that scored against us in the half court. It's just not a real thing.
True.
It's
Mm.
transition.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
and we hope to keep that
Very
true
good.
moving
Very
forward.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I might be doing it wrong.
Very
I got
good.
to play me trying to
Yeah.
continue.
Coach, what year is this for you at TSU?
This is year 4. This is year 4. Yeah, this is year 4.
How much, in your opinion, has SWAC women's basketball changed, evolved since you started at TSU?
It's so exciting. I mean, you know, I love what Southern is doing down there. You know, I think they're such a traditional team of toughness. You know, the track coach must be training them on the low because they're gonna be athletic. They're gonna get after it. And all of his kids buy in. You know, his system is consistent, and what he's done in the psychological part of getting those kids to compete against anybody. You know, they look the same. They never shake. They never falter. They may not win, but they don't look different. You can't smell fear. You know, all corn. Oh my God. Like their system, they just get better as the season goes. So whoever you're looking at now, because his system is similar to Flux, it takes time to get really, you know, it's more of emotion based. And I know Coach, I forget her name, but she's coming down in Daytona and she's worked up at George Mason with the legend down there. And I know she's going to bring quality and expertise. And so, you know, we have some really competitive coaches here that are doing some like phenomenal things. And just the art of getting your kids on a day-to-day basis to be competitive at the game time. And listen, our fans, I tell people all the time, if power fours and power fives could come play against SWAC teams during SWAC conference, oh, it'll be different. It wouldn't be such a because that is a different space. And that's what doesn't happen because it takes about that long for the students to calm down, to get in the gym and
Mm-hmm.
to be there and to be present after the
Yeah.
break, you know, and oh man, when the band's there and the crowd and the dancers and the artists and say, oh, okay, that is a place a lot of people couldn't play in, you know.
Mm.
And if we had the chance to compete like that versus some of those, and a lot of those schools don't come to our areas, you know, kudos to South Carolina and schools like that, you know, who are taking the challenge and playing away on some of these games and building the atmosphere. But I think they stay away for a reason too.
Any more questions for Coach Vernette Skeete from TSU in these closing moments of this edition of Folks Talking Sports?
What's your like?
Say
I'm
there.
good, Chris.
How do you
I'm good,
identify
Chris.
talent?
Hold on. Need to go first.
No, go
How
ahead.
do you identify talent, especially locally and in state?
Mm, yeah.
You know, I think for me, I don't know if anybody else does this, but everything for me is a breakdown or a guideline. So within our program, we have what we call the component sheet, and every position is labeled from skill set. Like a lot of people can tell you, "Oh, I think you're a 2." Okay, what does that mean? Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
the 2? What's the difference in between the 2 and the 3? So the 2 and the 3 offensively have different roles within our system. And so all of those are identified. And so the understanding is if you're at 80% of any of those of those columns and components within your position, you're gonna play.
Yeah.
And whoever's the most is gonna play. Now, most of the time we really ain't getting about up to 60, but you know what I mean? The goal is 80. And so everything we do is not emotional, it's statistic based, it's skill based. It's not I'm just gotta feel. You know what I mean? That's integrity. I'm not gonna leave it a chance in my mind. Like, you know what I mean? I could no,
Mhm.
what is the sheet? So my recruiters and my coaches and everybody that participates in scouting and that like we're on the skill sheet, and that skill sheet kind of helps us guide what we're looking for in each position. And obviously, sometimes we don't have access to everything. You know what I mean? That we need. If we did, we'd win more. But We work with whatever we got, but we do have it broken down by each position. And we also don't give kids positions. We give them the component sheet. Whatever your 80 to 60 to 80% at is where you're going to play, because we're going to put you in
Mhm.
the best place for you. We're really positionless. I'm not going to get it. If my five wants to be a point guard, well, if you can do the skill sheet, hey, you have at it. But you're going to be on 80%. You ain't just going to be out there getting there's real
Mhm.
tangible skills. And then I always say, this you can take to your trainers. A lot of people are training kids and don't know what they're running in college. Well, that's dumb. What are you training them for?
Hmm.
The Whataburger circus. Like, what are you training them for if you don't know what they're gonna run? Why are you putting them in spaces that they never see shots? So now I got to go figure out how a kid got an 80% shot in a place that I don't have in my offense, and they sitting on the bench with an 80% shot. That's not
Yeah.
coaching. You know what I mean? So we got to be on the same page so that I make sure I have that skill or that shot, which I can, because I can create a shot at anything I do offense. But I make sure that whatever 80% shots my kids have, I have within the offensive flow, which helps them buy in as well.
AD, go
Mhm.
ahead.
Coach, quickly, I mean, I've heard you, enumerate offense, just talking about basketball as the whole human event. What is your defensive philosophy out there? How is it woven into your? I mean, do you get down there and leave skin on the floor or what?
Defense is an illusion. I mean, defense is an illusion. Like, what is zigzag drill? I'll zigzag you to the rim. Like, you zigzag drill me, I'll zigzag you. Defense illuminates your lack of skill, right? So, like, when I'm a defender, I'm trying to illuminate their lack of skill. I'm going to close out straight up. I'm not going to give an angle. I'm not going to give you an advantage. We take away all advantages. I understand offense and actions. And so, whatever the action is created, if you're running a slice screen or a down screen, whatever you're looking to create, I take that first action away and I make you have to think. Right? I'm not going to give you what it naturally is supposed to give you. Right? So, you want to set a screen on my five and you want to force a switch. We ain't switching. Like, we're not going to switch it because that's what the action does. So, defense is an illusion. Right? Like, it doesn't really, you can't stop them. You can't push them or punish. You can't even impede movement. So at the end of the day, if my left hand is shaky and you turning me every time or you trying to speed me up with my left, well then yeah, I'm gonna be nervous. If I can't look up and dribble, okay, yeah. But to fix defense, you fix your skill. So I'm on offense because the longest the team with the most point wins, we need to get buckets. But I do believe in taking away whatever action and whatever their comfort zone is. That's why a lot of people don't score on us in the half court. Because if you made it a play, I got a way to stop it.
What's been your best coaching moment?
My best, honestly, it would be Alabama State to this day. We had Lele. We were up by 20 in the game. Again, Alabama State, great crowd. Men start coming in, the gym start getting packed. We came out a little flat at halftime, and they started battling back. And I'm drawing up plays and we're killing every time. And I draw up one, and then one of my players didn't get it. And a player turns to me in the huddle and she says, Coach, why are you drawing up for her? She ain't ready. Give me the ball. Oh, Lord. Oh. I said, okay. And I gave her the ball and she delivered. By far, I love the ones that want it, and I love to put them on the set. Like, I'm not. Oh no, listen to me. I'm gonna. No, if you want it, I'm gonna give you the chance. You know what I mean? Because it's all about putting the ones that want it in the position to achieve it and have it. And even if she missed, it still would have probably been a highlight to me because the fact that she wanted that moment and she wasn't afraid and she was ready to challenge anybody else. Like, how you gonna pass me? And I love that. Like, that's the type of kid you want to coach late man, because
Yeah.
everybody know I love late. Like, I love special situations. I love getting the board out. I'm looking down at the coach. I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said the game is my, it's my stage. Like, it's like I love like the strategy of basketball. So that is probably a little different than a lot of people. But when I teach like that, it takes a fear out of defense that a lot of kids don't need to have in the SWAC, because all people do is press, 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 press. They'll send 4 or 5 people in. Sometimes it ain't got no organization. They just run around and scramble. Like the whole league is just scrambling. So you got to have some confidence. But that's why it's very hard to press me unless I'm
Mm.
down. If I ain't got but 6 people, well, then that makes sense. But when we were full strength, we changed the way the league was playing defense. They couldn't really press us because press breaks were going. We were gonna get a layup. So
Mm.
I love when the kids are buying into the IQ and the strategy part. That makes it exciting because you can do so much when they can pick up things faster. But if they can't, we slow it down and we do, we work with whatever they got. So I know AD, that probably wasn't what you wanted to hear, but my man, defense is an illusion.
Who was in charge of TSU's Lady Tigers Instagram account?
uh, you know, I know we ain't got a lot of time, but again, the Holy Spirit whispers. I was up late night. I was fighting a lot of different things, and I had a vision of what it needed to look like, and it wasn't looking well. And so I found this young woman. I don't even know how I found her. She wasn't even in school. Her name was Jillian Ebron. Okay, we call her Coach J. I asked her to come in. And I offered her a grad assistant scholarship. I saw she did videos and things like that. And I'll never forget this. She brought her pastor to meet me.
Mm.
Oh, good. Pastor Mo. I love Pastor Mo. She brought her
Mm.
pastor to meet me, and I said, Pastor Mo, I gotta have her. And she allowed me to still her, and I had her, and she graduated and then became my assistant. And she got so good, she finished became my associate head coach
Hmm.
before she finished and she graduated out. And she's going on to do some multi, she's a full time. She got a lot going on. She's brilliant. But she set the tone and the standard and she created it for where it is now. So we operate a little different. We operate our social media in-house, and throughout, a little different, but she created a lot of different, she created the organization for our media moguls. That's what we call them. Yeah, so I have to give her credit.
When is the schedule dropping, Coach?
Well, we wanted to wait to the AD, in
Fair.
fairness to the
Hmm.
AD, got there, made sure that out, and that should be out probably tomorrow. Well, with clearance, obviously, I won't step over nobody's toes, but no later than this week, it should be out. That should be out and popping. That should be out. We won't have the delay. It won't be no delayed schedule coming out this.
And it'll be on the TSU women's basketball account, Instagram account.
Yes, yes, it will be there first, and then we got to work on getting it out to the SIDs. So, yeah, it'll be up and running. Look forward,
See, see, here's another reason why people should start watching Folks Talking Sports. You get inside info just like that. See,
just like that, just like that.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
I mentioned to you in my text to you, we have fun and inform here on Folks Talking Sports.
Mhm.
Was I telling the truth?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. This is great. I actually love the question. Like, by far, you can tell when people are invested in the sport and are not, like the questions that were asked are like so forward leading and topics that need to be asked and said, and it gave the right platform for people because they really don't know. They see us but they don't know the intricate levels of why things develop into they do. And so I'm like, when we doing this again? No.
You tell me, Coach.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
You tell
okay,
me.
I want to
Co-
be a
co-
part. I want to listen more.
Look
Like
here, Coach
I
Mom.
want to hear from y'all more. Like I can't wait. Y'all insight. I mean, the questions I kept saying, "Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's a good quote." Yeah, when because it's almost like you did. Like these are the things that you guys ask me are actually like things that I hang my hat on that are so different from most people. So it's kind of funny. Like if my assistants were sitting here, they'd be like, "Oh, I know what she would say. Oh, I know what she would say." Because so it's like you guys really hit like the funny thing. My kids, we come in. Defense is a what? An illusion. Defense is a what? An illusion. Like it's so funny that like you guys asked all like it's like it was in my practice. Like somebody gave y'all a cheat sheet. I'm like, oh, y'all gonna make me talk all the trash. People gonna think I'm just this woman is crazy. Like all the things that we like make fun of her that we hang our hat on, y'all literally asked me. So I was just like, well, I gotta tell
I'm
the
gonna
truth.
use that. I'm
me?
gonna use that. I'm gonna go when I do the count. The defense is an illusion,
It's
y'all. Defense
an
is an
illusion. It's an
illusion.
illusion. Hey, score. Score.
Yeah, score.
My last question for you as we wrap it up with you, and thank you very much for joining us, is when would you like to come back on the show?
Anytime. You first of all, I follow everything you put out. So you know that at this point by now. So just tell me when. I enjoy, I like intellectual shock. I like things that are engaging. I like to grow. And this is really good for me. And I would love to hear, even if it's another sport, another team. Like I like hearing the talk. I don't want to miss nothing if I could grow somebody, grow something from it. Because I know we didn't even get into the 5-for-5 rule this time. So we
Right,
got more
right.
to
That's
talk
true.
about. We got more
Right.
to
That
talk
was my
about,
next
y'all.
That's
question.
another. That's next week's show. That's next,
So I'll be back next week.
that sounds good to us.
All right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'll be back
let's
next
go.
week. Yeah. At same time next week. I'm ready.
Cool.
Excellent. Coach Vernette Skeete, thank you very much. I think we had a blast. I think the audience enjoyed this. And I'm glad everything, for the most part, worked here on the platform.
Yeah.
So, as I like to say, onward and upward for Folks Talking Sports and the Houston Roundball Review and TSU Women's Basketball. And I'm going to say this, I say it, and the folks can't tell the look of this show is intentional. The people on this show is intentional. If you don't like it, that's a you problem. That's not
your
my problem.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
All right, well, y'all heard it. Coach Skeete said she'll be back next Sunday, so we're going to
Yes, I'll
have her
be
on
back.
again
Send me
next
the
Sunday.
link. I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back. I can't wait. This is fun.
yeah.
Thank you guys for having me sincerely. And then, crowns on.
Indeed, Coach
Hey,
Vernette
let's
Skeete. We'll see you
go.
next Sunday. You
All right.
take
See you
care.
next Sunday. Bye
All
All
bye,
right,
right,
Coach. Thank
guys.
cool.
you.
Be
Bye
Have a
bye.
blessed.
good night. And have a great week. Be blessed.
You as
You
well.
too. Coach made
What
me want to go put my lace up my shoes and go up there and see if I got one more year eligibility. I think.
You might have more than Laquita. Ain't no
Yeah,
telling.
give me my
Just
five.
file a lawsuit, and go see. Hey,
really?
hey,
There you
Lawsuit,
go.
lawsuits will get you a couple extra years of eligibility, Laquita. Why not?
Hey, I'm gonna go get my agent. Let's go, y'all. I'm ready.
but yeah, that'll wrap it up. And I'm gonna give it to Laquita first. Put you on the
Okay.
big screen,
All
and
right.
unfortunately, it doesn't look like the portrait recording is gonna work or is working. But that's not anything we can control. But this version will work. So you got it, Laquita.
Okay. And I'm gonna steal this from Coach because I liked it. The problem is we have a lot of student athletes and parents who are not educated enough about NIL, transfer portal, how to find the right school, how to choose the right school, and then what to do beyond school. The solution is I have part of it with my ebook, which is the playbook Beyond the Game that breaks down how to do all of the above plus more. Again, it's going to always be under my social media, which is Laquita Thompson. And right now, I'm having a sale that I'm going to let go through all the fall to help those kids who are getting ready for college, in college, trying to transfer, trying to make the right decisions regarding your career financially, how to network, how to build your brand, how to take care of social media, all of these things the book is going to help you with. So, again, it's the ebook that is the playbook Beyond the Game that's going to help you in your college career.
Yo ho! Hey folks, as always, I appreciate it. Don't follow me on X AD_more64, IG AdMax Corner, as well as Threads, and also my personal Facebook account. Texans are heading into their final preseason game. They will close it out Friday in Charlotte against the Carolina Panthers. They will have a joint practice session on Wednesday in Charlotte. No, I'm not going to Charlotte. By no stretch, it's enough heat here. I can stay here and sweat instead of going to Charlotte. So, and as always, continue. Thank you for ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to be part of this auspicious occasion. I love Coach Skeete, really I do. I just want to get there and sit in the stands and just watch it unfold. because it's interesting. I would definitely. It almost remind me of Chris when whatchamacallit came here from when University of California. What's his name? I'm having a brain drain. Must be getting old. When he came in, played TSU here at TSU, and
Jason Kidd.
yeah, when Jason Kidd came here, it's almost like I can expect to see Don Staley bring a team in there, bring her team in there, and play TSU. That'll be like a rock the house moment, you know. But I'm done.
That would,
Appreciate it. Thank you as always.
that
Thank
would be
you,
lovely.
sir. Kanitra, are you still on LinkedIn?
I am.
Okay, excellent. Any other social platforms you want to share with us? Anything new?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, back to this real quickly. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Big Thrillo and Justin and Queen Wanda Polk and everyone who watched on YouTube, LinkedIn, and or Facebook. Folks Talking Sports based on our schedules on Sundays. I think this will be the easiest live stream show for more of us to participate in. So going to continue doing that. I hope you enjoyed it. And you heard it. We know who's going to be the guest on next Sunday's show. So come back next Sunday for another edition of FTS with TSU coach Vernette Skeete. And Thrillo, as a TSU alum, I'm glad you got a chance to watch it live. You know, me and you talked about it a few days ago. You said you're going to try to join if you could. I'm glad you could make it. I hope you enjoyed that. Justin, I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. And friends, colleagues, associates, viewers, this is another example. I'm going to borrow from KP, AD, Laquita, people who know me. I'm not bragging when I tell you I know people. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you. So the next edition of Folks Talking Sports, join us next Sunday. That'll be episode 198. You can catch the audio version of this on iTunes and Spotify and all the great things, and iHeartRadio as well. But until next Sunday, y'all know this about the Houston Round Bar Review. Smash the like button on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, TSU alum, tell your friends to join us next Sunday for episode 198 with Coach Skeete, because she'll be back. And we're going to talk more, probably get into the 5 and 5. And boy, that's a whole nother show right there. I mean, true, that could be the show itself, that topic right there. But until next Sunday, I want to thank Kanitra Pulliams, Laquita Thompson, and Mr. A.D. Moore for participating in the great discussion here on this edition of Folks Talking Sports. And wrapping it up, since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.